Welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be tackling something way outside of my wheelhouse, and that's going to be making a gasoline-powered scooter. I want to try as much as possible to use basic parts that I can buy in my regular small town here, so we're going to head to the hardware store and hopefully pick up a lawnmower to use its engine for our scooter. Oh my gosh! Oh! So this is cool to me because I never grew up working on cars and doing mechanical things like that. So my mechanical knowledge is absolutely zero. So hopefully as we go through this project, I can share with you the things that I'm learning as a complete beginner. What are we looking at here with the engine? We've got our pull start there, fuel goes in here, oil there, and this wire and cable pulls our throttle. The actual cylinder must be up here. That must be, is that a spark plug? Yeah, it must be a spark plug. I would have imagined it'd be heavier. I'm going to interrupt us to thank today's lovely sponsor, which is Policy Genius. It's designed for people just like me that aren't very fond of the stress, hassle, and confusion of purchasing the insurance that they need. They make it easy to learn about insurance with their handy guides, and they make it even easier to shop for it. But the absolute best part is the money that you could be saving. If your home or auto insurance is cutting into your wallet a little bit too deep this summer, then you've got to check them out. They've saved customers an average of $1,250 a year over what they were paying for home and auto insurance. You can compare home and auto insurance in one place, and it's as easy as going to policygenius.com/forge, answering a few questions, and then they'll take it from there. Comparing rates from the nation's top insurers, the Policy Genius team can help you save more by bundling policies, and if they find you a better rate than what you're currently paying, they'll switch you over for free. So please head to policygenius.com/forge to get started comparing quotes for your home and auto insurance. Thank you, Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. So we've got our engine sorted, and we also nipped back to buy 2 wheels and a very simple set of bike disc brakes. So let's start trying to plan out what our frame needs to look like. F-rate Colin Furs checking in to let you know that I've sketched up my plan and I'm going to start fabricating up the lower deck out of some 1-inch square tube. Now I made a bike. The thing with bikes, I don't know. But I need to have a way of getting this wheel to pivot through here, which means I need to make a head tube, but I kind of have no idea how that's going to work. Thinking about it is making me want to puke, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So part of how I make my head tube requires me to consider how the wheel works. How the wheel works requires me to consider how the fork works. This is why things are expensive, is because it requires smart people to plan them. I had my first minor breakthrough. Maybe I don't need to throw away this lawnmower. Let's just circle back to establish some definitions. It's kind of similar to a bike. We're gonna have our rear wheel, our front wheel, our rear axle, our front axle, a fork, a head tube, a steerer tube, handlebars, etc., etc. And this dilemma that I'm having is all focused on the front end and how our head tube, steerer tube, and all of that go together. Because for us to be able to steer, we need the steering tube to have a certain rigidity to it, so it can't be too small. But it also needs to have some sort of bearing surface that allows it to rotate smoothly. That's the concern. How do I, as a complete amateur, design and build that? I ain't got no idea. I never say I ain't. I'm so stressed that I'm saying words that I do not say.
I couldn't have just made a knife.
So something I can tackle right now is making this wheel have bearings. So I'm going to make up 2 bearing cups that press fit into the plastic and will then hold roller bearings. bearing cups. A pair of them! I'm not gonna press them in yet until I have the bearings, in case I need to put them back in the lathe to open them up, because I'm bad at making things. But at last, something has happened on this project that looks mildly like progress. Jamie, what should I do next? Some more work on the deck, maybe? Front part of the frame is welded to the lower part. It's a new day, which means that my bearings have arrived. We've got ourselves here one SKF 6201, two RSH, and technically it should be quite a firm press fit. That's not quite as firm as we'd like it, but I think we might have ourselves a super workaround. Nobody will be any the wiser. Now I put another one in there, and that one's stuck nice and firm. Now all we've got to do is press these two bearing cups into the wheel. Who needs a hydraulic press when you got guns of steel? Ho-ho! You'll make an engineer out of me yet. Yeah, looks like a wheel. Next up, the fork. So here are the components that are going to make up the fork. Everything is pretty much ready to weld. We have a 99mm hole spacing between the bearings, including a room for a washer. So I'm going to use this 99mm long bit to help make sure we make everything square. Forks welded, and I gotta say we're cruising on forwards in this little build. Next up, we're going to make the steerer tube. This is a bit of round pipe. It is not 32mm. We're gonna put it in the lathe and make it 32mm, and that'll go inside the head tube. So we have our piece of pipe turned down to the right dimension. It is gonna fit inside this collar. Part of what I'm really trying to focus on is making things as simple as possible. And what could be quite challenging is welding my steerer tube to the fork in a way that's square and neat. Well, using this collar, it's only about a couple of bucks, and I'll be able to tighten my tube to it, grind a chamfer on it, and that'll sit much easier on this flat surface, ensuring we weld it on the square. Have a looky here. I think we shall soon have ourselves a scooter. One of the things that I really appreciate about my job is being able to take on projects where I just have to figure it out along the way. I could spend a whole lot of time doing research to find out exactly how to do this, but I really like that I can just get stuck in and we can start building it because it's a serious mental challenge. It's a good workout for my brain. I know a lot of you guys know how to do all this stuff and are seeing all the things that I'm doing wrong. I'm looking forward to hearing from you down below in the comments. I'm no expert. Like I said, F-rate Colin Furs right here. But everybody's got to start to learn something from somewhere. And this is that. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to Policy Genius for sponsoring this episode. Check them out down below. Bye-bye.